Hello everyone and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 267. Today is Saturday, March 9th, 2019, and I'm glad you could join me today. It is a super beautiful day, but I figured I'd just record up here anyways. It wasn't worth all of the shuffling to set up outside, but maybe next week. There are definitely options. So, super duper beautiful day today. I wonder whether or not I got sunburnt, but it's really funny, like, when you see, for like that first nice day in winter, and then everyone's around with the convertibles down, or with the convertibles with the top down, and be like, okay. Like, I see my people, and they're having a good time. So, I managed to sneak in an errand at a coffee shop, because if you buy a pound of coffee, they give you a drink for free. So, this makes it super worth it to just make the drive. So, unfortunately, I'm not drinking it yet, but whatever. So, this is my current work in progress. So this is my 12th Tensfield, Tensfield L, that I am knitting out of several simultaneous balls of yarn, as you can tell by this giant tangled mess coming out of here. Now, the whole thing ends up working up pretty, like, this giant umbilical cord of yarn is not necessarily adding to the book a whole lot, but I'm really enjoying how this is turning out, definitely since I am coming towards the end of the yarn that I had intended to knit into Tensfields. So this is some blue mystery wool, some Cascade Merino 220 superwash, some Rowan superwash, a mystery gray yarn, this stupid Regia hand dye effect that I think I'm still gonna have a little bit left over after this, some SMC sport wool, which I'm getting close to using up all of this. This is a fuchsia. And then some Filetta de Crosa sport wool, which is really a DK. So this is sort of, yeah, I think those are all the highlights. And then I have sort of when I ran out of my mystery gray wool, my bluish gray wool, I switched to just a straight up gray wool. And there is, at this point, also a little bit of a sample of Green Mountain Spinnery's Alpaca Elegance, which is super gorgeous. Green Mountain Spinnery is one of those woolen spun yarn mills, and you can't deny dyed in the wool looks pretty awesome. There's a reason why I'm dyeing fleece and then processing it, so that's what I'm trying to recreate. So I am pretty close to being done on this, so I have 5 more rows before I Kitchenerite closed, and I'll have to do my stockinette, my Pearl Kitchener, which isn't that crazy, because I've decided to make the wrong side of the garter the outside of the hat, because I figure that having it just blends some of these disparate colors a little bit better. So not too crazy. So almost done, but not quite. I just figured I would record before I settled into putting in job applications while I'm sitting outside in the shade, because it is pretty gorgeous. So that is the primary work in progress. And then I will put that down there. Let's see, so the other thing that got a little bit of love was my breathing space. So I am knitting this out of my own handspun. So this is a combo spin of Noel and Yuletide, and then the green is a colorway called Mistletoe, and this is the Superwash Merino Silk, or Superwash Merino Silk base. So, totally feltable. Unfortunately, Jen isn't carrying it anymore, and she managed to scrounge the last of it, the last that she had lying around the studio, to dye up my one more thing of a mistletoe for me so that I can finish. So she's been super duper patient with me on this project because it's been an epic. And we're just making it to the bottom. But that didn't even have what I was looking for. So, I took what yarn I had remaining after I realized I wasn't going to make it, and so this is how much I have of the first little bit of that, and this is how much I have of the other one. So I managed to get several inches of sleeve so far with this. So I'm going to knit until I run out, do a solid block, do some ribbing, call it good. And all of my solid blocks will be the new yarn once I finish spinning it. I'm not done finishing spinning it. So it's been a little bit of an epic, but I'll be able to get like a few more rows, I think. And then I'm gonna call it close enough. So there's still quite a lot of knitting that needs to happen on the sweater. It's just my spinning mojo hasn't been super duper high. I've been pretty busy. And spinning mostly happens at home. So it is coming along. So the sleeve is not too crazy. You can maybe see here, this is the bright green right here is where I'd started the sleeve. So not too crazy. So should be coming along nicely. But it hasn't gotten a lot of my love. It isn't, like, it's definitely easy knitting, that's for sure. So I will definitely have quite a bit left over of this, and that's fine. That's just sort of how the yarn usage worked out, and we're just gonna go with it. So it's probably the case where, I don't know how much I have left over on this. So I've been stashing my size 2s in this ball of yarn. The project doesn't really fit in the bag anymore, so that's just slightly dangerous, but whatever. So, like, I can zip it shut. It's just hard to carry this project around because it doesn't want to stay in my little Swift. So there's that. What I didn't end up doing this week was working on my I didn't end up working on my Knit the Precious Cal project. So that is a cal that's going to be going on through the end of April, with the thought process being finding a precious skein in your stash and working with it. And so my precious skein is actually one of the oldest full skeins that I had, which was a mohair silk from Milan. So it wasn't like it was expensive, but it's definitely a very, very different material. And I am combining it with a wool stainless steel from Lion Brand in order to create one of the most interesting lace projects I've ever made. So I showed you guys some of that last week. I don't know whether or not I did some more or not. I don't think I did. So it's been a little bit since I last worked on my project, so I'm thinking it'll end up getting more love as soon as I'm done with this hat craze. So the end is near, for sure. And then on the finished objects front, I managed to complete 2 this week. So I have this one here, which is the SMC Sport, the Valletta de Crosa Sport DK, and I carried Malabrigo lace in the Azure colorway doubled for most of this hat. So this is pretty subtle. It really, the light blue ends up toning down the fuchsia and the teal quite a lot. So at some point, oh, and there's a little bit of my mysterious gray wool in here as well. So it's pretty subtle, all things considered. So you can maybe see it a little bit better on this side, possibly. So what ends up happening is that, and then there is a little bit of pink here because I did run out of the Malabrigo at the very end, so the pink, the fuchsia color does end up getting pretty bright and punchy. So this is a worsted weight one. That has a very, how does this seem? It has a very nice hand, and this one's pretty subtle. So add that to the ridiculous pile of hats. So that one's probably J, and this one is K, and this one has a whole bunch of interesting things in it as well, along with my hair. Like, this turned out to be like fairly furry. So I have some Thick and Quick, the mysterious blue wool from Australia, some Plymouth Surrey Merino hand paints, a little bit of the alpaca chunky in there, a little bit of brown sheep, bulky, some of my my merino superwash from Cascade. The mysterious gray wool ends up making an appearance over here, and then I also have some of my Rowan superwash as well up at the point. So this was sort of a blacks and tans with all sorts of blues thrown in there. So the blue, the mysterious worsted blue yarn was used throughout, and then depending on what I sort of combined it with, I got a bunch of different effects. But this managed to use up a decent number of the scraps, and this blue and black combo was sort of what inspired me for the next hat. So, like, this one's very graphic, but pretty cool overall. So, like, just a little bit of room in the top, but plenty of stretch overall. So, this was, K. So, L will be done very soon, and then I will have to probably sit down and weigh and figure out if there's going to be an M. There might be an M, so we'll do a little hair rejiggering. It's not like it needed that much, but there's definitely something that's in just a little bit silly. So, so that the hats continue, but I'm starting to get a little bit tired of it. As you do. So, I don't believe that I'm going to go wild on my fingering weight stash, I might just use, or if it turns out that I don't quite have enough to finish one, I might dig or raid my fingering weight stash in order to wrap up the very last hat. But then I think I'm going to be good. So I don't think I want to or it would be the case where I don't think I'm going to knit down my fingering weight stash in that way. I may decide to knit down my fingering weight stash to make stuffies. So it's sort of, I have the Rebecca Danger Boogie Woogie Brontosaurus. I have to figure out what the first name is. Or is it just Boogie Woogie Brontosaurus? Must be. Oh, it's Basil, the Boogie Woogie Brontosaurus. So, Basil, the Boogie Woogie Brontosaurus, I think I'm going to end up buying that pattern and making some Boogie Woogie Brontosaurus for my nephews. Sending them off and having them be all sorts of bright, crazy, fingering weight colors. Because it'll be fun. So I have the filling, I have the fingering weight yarn. I just need to probably sit down and reserve any yarn that I would be using for like sock fixes. But after that, I don't think it really matters. So but I think that's what I'm sort of settling in on. There were some super duper cute little stuffy patterns, but I'm thinking that having the Brontosaurus will be super cute for both of them. And I sort of take the mindset that if I buy a pattern, especially like a stuffed animal pattern, that I just want to knit it several times. So there is that as well. So that's the one that's been living sort of on my desktop for quite some time, so I think I just need to go for it. And see, it seems like it'll be fun. So there'll be crazy marled Brontosaurus, and I think I'm okay with that. Because, well, there's all sorts of yarn. All sorts of fun colors, so this is the fun colored side. This side has a lot of my neutrals in it. Out of character, all these neutrals. And then I have my bigger leftovers in here, so those will probably also get called into service as well. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's just nice to see like all of the possibilities that you can have. And then I think that, yeah, I've been carrying that yarn around like all week. Or it'd be the case where I've had it in my DFW Fiberfest bag all week. I've only really carried it around on Friday, but it's a lot of stuff to bring around with you. So, this bonkers stack of hats is definitely almost complete. And the other thing that I'm probably actually going to do, so while I was doing like a closet clean out, I managed to find quite a lot of knitwear, some of it gifts from other people, and some of it stuff that I had decided to keep for myself. So I made a bunch of hats and decided to keep some and donate others. And so at this point, I think what I'm going to end up doing is going through all of my knitwear again, or sort of all of these like warm weather accessories, and sort of separating out stuff again to figure out like what I want to keep, what needs to go, and that sort of thing. So that likely means that there'll be a few more hats added to the donation pile. They just won't have been knit by me this year, and I'm okay with that. I was laughing a little bit because I'll check this. I think I've completed more projects in 2019 than I did all of 2018. Like, I don't know. Let's see. So, okay. So the first project that I finished was the stuffy for Claire. So we have 1, 2, okay, never mind. I think these baby hats ended up saving me. So I finished 16 projects in 2018, and I have done 1. Okay, I finished 13. I have finished 13 so far in 2019, so we're getting close. If I finish everything that I have in my needles, I will equal my number of finished projects from last year. So, and hats are quick, so there's that. But as you do. So I'm definitely gonna have a fairly productive 2019, which I'm okay with. I guess I'm not doing as many big projects this year, and that's okay. You have to go where your mojo is. Excuse me. But I'm glad I have the numbers, so I just have to finish 3 projects, and I'll be equal to my totals. Maybe not by weight though. So, oh well. Unfortunately, this hasn't meant good things for spinning. I didn't do any fleece processing. I did do a little bit of spinning this week, but I really just felt more like knitting hats. So maybe it's not quite over yet. I think I just need to direct everything up, or whatever, direct all of that need for motion elsewhere. So, whatever, it won't be too crazy. It would be nice to finish some things. It would be nice to tackle some of the other pieces of my stash, if that makes any sense. It's definitely the case where I am not sure about what I would like to do for DFW Fiberfest, or what is it? So my plans are going to be a little bit different this year than in the past, so I ended up signing up to take 5 classes, and because of that I ended up getting a free ticket to the Friday night talk. So I think that's with the Shibui guys, or Shibez, and I don't know. They are normally, or they typically do like crochet classes, so whole different perspective, should be interesting. And then I have all day class on Thursday, or 2 classes with Judith McKenzie all day, and then I have an all day class on Friday with the Clemis and Clemis folks. Only one of them because the market will be open on Friday. And then I have a class with Franklin Habit, so it should be quite a lot of fun. I was like trying to discuss with my friends, like, what am I gonna buy? It was like, I have no clue what I want. It probably doesn't help that I don't think I have made any projects with the yarn that I got last year, so maybe it's not gonna be a big year for that, or it'd be the case where I end up checking out stuff. But it is interesting to see where those seasons lie and that sort of thing. It was a case where, what was it, my wheel did sustain a little bit of battle damage, so the tension knob for the Scotch tension ended up breaking. So I did finally purchase the replacement part, because it was working okay, and I had some like yarn stuffed in there, but then 2 of the 4 prongs broke, and it was just like, oh my gosh. So I ended up getting that, and I ended up also getting some fiber from the Woolery to join it on this ride. I did not make free shipping, so, but that's probably okay. What would it be? And we'll figure out where to go from there. But I realized that as I was spinning, that I was a little bit unsure how in the world my take-up was even working at all. So I didn't really want to be in that situation where my wheel wouldn't work in class. So I want to learn as much as possible from Judith Mackenzie. So be the case. That's sort of the bright spot coming up. We almost decided to go to Maui. Apparently there was too much procrastination on my part, so. But now I know quite a lot of people who are willing to go on a trip to Maui. It's okay. Southwest is finally flying there, and they were offering this insane sale, but it's okay. We'll survive. Yeah, no, and I'm still on the jump hunt, so that's probably going to be my fun this afternoon, is putting in applications, so. It's not too crazy, but nobody enjoys job hunting, so. I don't foresee any issues in the upcoming days. I will not be partaking heavily in the St. Patrick's Day shenanigans. But let me tell you that my colleagues who are a part of the Less Than 5 Years group are super duper stoked. Super duper stoked. I was like, this might be something where I feel a little old. So I should be able to do everything as usual next week as well. So with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.